Okay, so I thought today I would talk a bit about the work that I'm doing with Grameen. I come from a journalism background and communications background in nonprofit development, so um, I didn't really know, how to speak broadly about those skills, but I thought I'd relate it to the thought leadership um, goals that Grameen has. And so I'm going to talk about specifically some communication tools that I've been working on here since I started, and those are blogs and one-pagers. So blogs, I'm sure people are familiar with. I've started to get familiar with blogs in the kind of international development space, and specifically in micro savings. And a couple of key things about blogs, especially when condensing a lot of information, such as case studies, which is what I've been doing. I think blogs should be short and sweet, and that the information should be digestible. And something that my supervisor has recommended to me is creating lists. She was saying, she and other managers were saying that people love reading lists. So that's a great way of just saying, okay, 10 things we learned on the ground in this project, or 5 great ways to engage your clients in this, space. And there's also been, I've seen a lot of cross-posting. So for example, if a project manager at Card Bank working with Card Bank has posted something on Grameen's blog, it might be cross-posted on Next Billion or Action. And the thought or the idea around a lot of these postings is to position Grameen as a thought leader. So that means Grameen is sharing what they've learned, their successes, and their best practices, especially coming out of this 4-year project around micro savings. So I have some examples of the blogs, just to give you a visual. So for example, this is one that Kimberly wrote, 10 ways to improve savings products. It's on the Grameen site, and then it was also posted on Next Billion. And so a lot of these blogs are interwoven. You can hop around from one to the other. Another example of one is this posting on Action. So my work particularly has been around either editing something that project managers have written and formatting it, or coming up with ideas, brainstorming about new posts. So related to this one, there was an article about savings overtaking loans, and that's significant because Grameen has been working with Card Bank in the Philippines, and so Julie and Jaco are working on a response to this posting so that they can talk about the great work that Grameen has been doing. So we're still in version 1 of that blog, but it'll be a response and a way for Grameen staff to kind of voice their opinion and then position Grameen as, doing impactful work in that space. So in addition to blogs, I'm also working on some blogs, but they're still in V1, so I wasn't ready to share them yet. But hopefully they'll be posted soon. And so in addition to blogs, I've also been helping project managers work on one-pagers. So as many of you know, Grameen has rebranded. There's a new logo. There's all sorts of documents available for staff, templates such as letterhead, white papers, briefing papers that are all in the My Grameen website. So it's like a toolkit. Everyone can go there and find things that they need to pull to use for events or meetings or client presentations, etc. I've been working specifically on creating one-pagers, and those are documents that staff can use to explain a program. If you just want a quick overview, this is the region we're working in, or this is the program we're working on, you can hand it to someone and it tells the story in a succinct, brief manner. The concept with these new one-pagers that I'll show you in a moment is that they should be very text-light. And the marketing communication department created 3 different options for layouts. You'll see in the My Grameen if you ever go into their marketing toolkit, but they have some really nice layouts. So, for example, I was speaking with Juan in Colombia about putting together, oh, I'm skipping ahead. So just to give you quickly, sorry, to back up, I'll give you an example. This is a program-specific one-pager. You'll see there big photos, big words, not too much text. One more example. Here's a region-specific one. These are just templates, so you can, change the photos, change the titles, and the wording is just placeholders. But you'll see there just a straight-ahead overview of the topic. So I was saying I was working with Juan to come up with, he wanted an overview, but of the whole Latin America, Caribbean region. So I kind of merged the two templates. I took the best parts of the program-specific and the region-specific and developed this one. This is just a version 1. We're still going through edits, but you'll see it's a little bit more text-heavy. And he felt that this would fit his needs more. This is just the first page. I think there's 3 or 4 pages, which is much longer than the templates, but he said he wanted one for the whole region, and there was just a lot of explaining to do. But there's all sorts of new templates to work with, which are great. Marketing Communications did a nice job of creating these layouts. And then what's next, particularly for my work in communications, Grameen has a big movement now to document lessons learned. It's part of their knowledge management initiative, and that means they want to document, lessons learned, best practices, what worked in the field, what didn't, and that's both for internally sharing with staff and for externally sharing. So at convenings, to share learnings at conferences, possible grant reporting, but we're trying to create a repository of information so that, as things change and certain programs close and certain ones start, that we have a repository of information. So anyone can look at it and say, oh, well, how did that go in year 2 of the microsaving initiative? Like, there'll be somewhere to read over all of that. And I believe Amy Jones said they started a wiki page, and I think that's within the My Grameen. But for my work, I'm starting to create a lessons learned document for the financial services department. Ultimately, it will be very long, but I'm going to have a brief version 1 for the savings seminar, which is coming up in October 22nd. So I hope to have just a small PDF to share with people so that they have an idea of what Grameen's working on in terms of documenting these lessons learned. So part of the work I'll be doing is I'm going to the Philippines in a week, and I'll be conducting interviews and compiling, the lessons learned and best practices from the folks out in the field. And I think they've started to take notes, but then I'm also going to do some one-on-ones to kind of take the temperature of things. So that's the communications work I'll be doing while here. It's a mixed bag of communications, but it's exciting, and I really hope to help Grameen, as they have this thought leadership initiative. I'm really getting a better handle now on what it means to help position Grameen in the space to kind of be, I don't know if it's mentor is the right word, but definitely as a leader, because we have so many great programs going on. There's a lot to document, so I know I'll be kept very busy, but it's really exciting at the same time.